When we went online last semester, I thought I would just give my usual lectures over Collaborate and it wouldn't be any big deal. After about a week, I was pretty sure I was just talking to myself. So I asked my students what they thought, started making some changes. One of the things I found out talking to students was that a lot of them had been sharing a textbook so that they could save a little money. Now they no longer had access to that textbook and they were having a lot of trouble. So I started making these little Lego biomechanics videos to try to explain some of the things they would have gotten out of the book. As a fun bonus, got to play with my kids and use Legos a lot. So, hey, who doesn't love that? The other big change I made was I took a lot of my lectures and I put them into a big Kahoot show. And so every day for a lecture, it was more like a game. Got everybody involved. I no longer felt like I was just talking to myself. And the students really seemed to respond to it. And they did very well at the end of the semester on the final exam. Everything really worked out very well. So now we have a whole summer to get ready to do this all over again. I just finished taking the Blackboard Course A. Got a lot of great ideas that I'm very excited to put into practice. I've set two rules for myself. First, anything that can be asynchronous should be asynchronous. Second, anything that is synchronous, whether it's face to face or on Collaborate, needs to be somehow interactive. In other words, nobody should ever have to drive through Lakewood again just to listen to me talk. There needs to be a good reason to drive through Lakewood or to log in to Collaborate for that matter. So I'm really convinced that the success or failure of this coming semester hinges on how successful we are at making these connections with the students. No matter what format we're in, does everyone feel like they belong and they're part of a community and they're interacting with me and their classmates and not just sitting at a computer somewhere? So to try to help facilitate this, I'm going to take most of my first week and use it like an orientation. This is how we're going to communicate in this class. This is how we interact. If we're on Collaborate, here's all these buttons that let you interact with me. How do we really use these things? I want to make sure everybody has, access and is comfortable and familiar with how we interact. Another strategy I'm planning to use is to break the class up into groups of roughly 5 or 6 and do most, not all, but most of the synchronous activities with the groups. I think this has two big advantages. One, if we're face to face, it'll be safer with a smaller group than with a larger group. And secondly, if we have to go to doing everything on Collaborate again, in a smaller group, it should be easier to get everybody involved in being interactive. The last thing I'm really thinking hard about is how do I allocate my time doing these flex hybrid courses. One of the things we learned in Course A was, um, what really sets a great online or a hybrid course apart from just an okay one is the quality of the feedback you give. So I really feel like I personally need to spend a lot more time looking at the students' work and making sure they're getting that feedback they need, but also finding ways to put a little bit of myself into that feedback. They signed up to take a class with me. They don't just want, you know, typing and robot feedback. Let's really let that personality come through, and I think that will help make that connection that I'm hoping to get. So, those are my thoughts on what's coming up. Happy summer, everybody, and let's knock this out next fall.